What's going on, YouTube? This is Jamil here, doing a quick analysis on what I've seen um, on day 2 of the North American WCQ, or as we like to say, the North American Nationals. And but first, let me start by saying yes, I did get my invite to the Nationals, and I had every intention on going, but life happens. When certain things happen, you can't get a certain amount of work done. You know, you can't make enough money to be able to do extra things. And also, I could have maybe carpooled with someone, but then I had to really think about it. And seeing as how the European Nats or the European WCQ heavily influences the North American WCQ, seeing how 70% of the meta was already Zodiacs, which could influence even more Zodiac players. And when I mean Zodiacs, I mean just straight pure Zoo. I'd really think, do I really want to play against Zodiacs for 12 rounds in a row, and not only potentially scrub out, but I also have to look ahead, because we are 12 days away, literally 12 days away from Link format. The Link structure deck that brings out the new mechanic and the master roll, so I have to also rather than use money on, towards a European a WCQ and scrub out and spend all that money getting there for nothing, may as well save what little I have and stack towards things I need. Things like Artifact Sanctums, Dankos, multiple Omegas, because I have plans. I got plans for Link format, and I should have been prepared already, but truth is I'm not. And so I need to spend what little resources I have getting myself ready for that format. But anyway, going into the Day 2 report, I've been watching quite a bit, and surprisingly, Paleos are actually doing quite good. There is this guy I was just watching. He was 9-0, and of course he played against a pure Zoo. No surprise there. But as one of the commentators clearly made crystal clear, the only reason Paleos was taking a back seat the entire time was due to the Lunalight combo, and they couldn't keep up. Now with the Lunalight combo gone, and Terra Top seeing no play in Zodiacs, Paleos can actually keep up again. They can keep up, and seeing as how the European WCQ turned out to be a super heavy Zodiac dominated tournament, you see a surprising number of True Dracos, as in pure True Dracos, and Paleos, and they're main decking these cards. The cards that actually are just suited purely against the Zodiac matchup, or at least, most effectively against them. Cards like Forbidden Apocrypha. I did not think this card would be so heavily played in this tournament. It's a nice little tech. I wouldn't main it, I would just side it, because there was a lot of True Dracos. And Paleos. And, this is only literally good against True Draco matchup. So, with that being said, this is a surprisingly really good card, but as I've seen a lot, everybody has had a Book of Moon or a Trident to respond, because if by the time this resolves, if there is only one exceed on the board, it fizzles. And that's what I've also noticed a lot in this tournament is quick play spells. All these quick play spells seem to be the most dominant force in this tournament. They're basically a hand trap. They are a hand trap, essentially, because all these quick play spells, what determines a good player? What determines good players are players that prepare for certain texts, certain cards that could potentially be used against them, things like Mirror Force that aren't commonly played, but a good player should expect them would expect them anyway, regardless. But things like quick play spells like Book of Moon and Enemy Controller I've seen a lot of. Those cards aren't really predicted. I mean, yes, it's very easy, especially now, to read like things like Shuffle Reborn, because ever since the European WCQ, everybody started taking multiple copies. But things like Book of Moon and Enemy Controller just really, really seem to decide a lot of these games, because like hand traps, you can't really read them. And even if you can read a quick play, you have no idea which one it is. Just like certain hand traps, there are certain times where Ghost Ogre, or where you're trying to read trying to play around a Ghost Ogre, and you get Ash Blossomed instead. You prepare for Ghost Ogre, but don't prepare for Ash Blossom. You prepare for Ash Blossom, but aren't ready for the Ghost Ogre, and things like just preparing for the wrong card, or trying to play around the wrong card, can potentially screw your play up, and that's what's been happening. The Zodiac players have been playing a lot of Book of Moons to turn off the Forbidden Apocrypha. They've been playing enemy controllers on True Dracos to take either the Dynamite Knuckle. Let's say if they read the Masterpiece, they can take the Dynamite Knuckle, or Dynamite Warrior, or whatever fighter, and they can't summon the Masterpiece, and they're stuck. And I've said this like 2 to 3 years ago. No, I think it was 3 years ago. I always felt the worst thing that Konami's ever done was invent quick play spells, because quick play spells are entirely too powerful. Hand traps were fine. Hand traps are essentially a watered down version of a quick play spell, because hand traps are either played during your opponent's turn, generally, just to respond purely to them, but quick plays can be used both offensively and defensively. During both players' turns, you can activate one immediately and set the other and try and bluff your opponent, and it's too much. But anyway, long story short, quick play spells have been deciding a lot of games, and probably will continue to do so for through link format, etc. Now, next, we have the Paleos. We're seeing a lot of Paleo cards and Paleos like Quaking Mirror Force and Floodgate Trap Hole. The most effective way to turn off Zodiac players is just booking things down, just having things face down so they can't overlay. Instead of Storming Mirror, you don't want to play Storming anymore, because you don't want to clear their board so they can activate Shuffle Reborn and potentially still have something on board. But I've also seen a lot of Unending Nightmares, and they're not even being played. Like they are being played, but they're not being played against the decks that this card was intended to be used against, i.e. Pendulums. This card is being used against Zodiacs, because quite a few of them are actually playing small True Dracos, like Diagram and all that mess. See, Unending Nightmare is like the best card not only against Zeus, but True Dracos as well, because it turns off all the important, very, very important cards, and it's a deterrent, like Tornado Dragon, which I've also seen a lot of in Zodiacs. People seem to put up boards of Dryden and Tornado Dragon all too often, not only against the mirror match, because Tornado Dragon is also really good against the mirror match for stopping Barrage, stopping Tinky Search, but also against True Dracos. Tornado Dragon can hit the Diagram and hit the True Draco's Return. The Return is actually what's been deciding a lot of these games for True Dracos versus Zeus. They can't get the Return off the board, or choose not to get it off the board in exchange. In some instances, losing a monster on the board is is the better option than to have them continuously revive over and over again off of Return, putting more damage on board, potential tribute fodder that they keep bringing out, to summon more True Dracos, like Masterpiece, and, it's just a snowballing effect the longer it stays on the board. That's why at times I still choose to destroy it, so they don't just keep racking up advantage for no reason. And in True Draco's Dynamite Knuckle, again, Dynamite Knuckle is probably the best one. It is the best one, because the trap cards are just so darn good. I haven't seen Apocalypse being actually used, like, as in, like, its effect being used all that much. I guess against Zodiacs, it's really not that effective. When I'm playing Dinos, that shit is used on me all the time, but against Zoos, it's not really all that effective, because their attacks really aren't that big. But what I see a lot of, there's this guy that had a spicy tech. This is, a waterfall of Dragon Souls. They still haven't renamed it because Maximum Crisis isn't legal in this freaking game for some reason. It hasn't updated. But anyway, Waterfall of Dragon Souls is actually a really good tech. It's a spicy tech that, with the Dynamite, you don't even need a diagram with this card, and you can sit here, and I've literally sat here and watched this play. This guy chained Dynamite Knuckle, right? And he chained Waterfalls to search the masterpiece, because it's a worm. He activated the Apocalypse, and then he immediately used it to tribute off his other Dynamite Knuckle and the trap, the Apocalypse, to summon Masterpiece. Unfortunately, the guy had Book of Moon in his hand, so I guess he didn't read a Raigeki, but the fact that he had Book of Moon kind of sealed him the game. He booked down the Masterpiece, it reset its stats, so it is now unaffected by monster effects. He lost, but the Waterfall of Dragon Souls is still a nifty card to actually be playing in pure True Dracos, simply for the fact that, one, your opponent's not going to be able to read it. They're not going to read it. Two, it's a good response card. Just in case they're attempting to, Trident pop your Dynamite Knuckle, and you can tribute it off and just draw 2 cards for nothing. I always knew Waterfall was nifty in some decks, but in the actual True Draco deck, I never thought it would actually be as useful as it was. And the guy did display some amazing playability with this card. But anyway, amazingly enough, I'm seeing a few Paleos. I saw a Cosmo in there, which was pretty good. Rip to him because he didn't necessarily get the best hand, especially game 1. The Pure True Draco player, the Paleo player at round 10. Yeah, round 10. He's an amazing player. However, he didn't necessarily open the best hand game 2. And that's kind of what got him. But, shout out to that guy. I really hope he wins this next round, round 11. So, anyway, that's it for the report. All I wanted to say is, yes, it is true. The European WCQ did, indeed, influence this North American WCQ. But it didn't influence them the way I thought it would. It didn't influence people to play more zoos, which I'm pretty sure there was, because every single feature match had at least one of the people had pure zoo. But there was a lot of non-zoos as well, decks to counter Zodiacs, because it's a matter of, do I want to play the mirror match a lot and prepare for the mirror match, because that is a tough... Mirror matches for zoos are tough. They are very, very tough. Very grindy, and it's very easy to make a mistake in the mirror match, and all it takes is one mistake and you lose the game. When it comes to just mirror match zoos, it's that. But you can play a deck like Paleo or True Dracos, which is good against pure zoos because you can tech things like Skill Drain. What was the other one? Lose a turn if you're playing True Dracos. Paleos have a lot of traps that can just keep suppressing the Zodiac player. And so both decks, have a fairly good, and with techs like Forbidden Apocrypha and all that mess, you can actually catch a few zoo players off by surprise and steal some games. So, with that being said, I'm really rooting for the Paleo guy. I hope he wins it. I hope he makes it to the top 64. I would like to see him play some more. But looks like this WCQ isn't as bad as I thought it was. There's still a lot of zoo players, but it's not so over ridiculously heavy on pure zoos. You're seeing true Dracos actually put up a fight here. So, that's all I have to say to you guys. Again, 12 days until link format. So, let me know what you guys have planned for link format. What decks you would play. I personally would still play dinosaurs. I would play pendulums because you can still pendulum from the hand. I have plans for that. I have plans for ABCs. Proxy Dragon isn't in that structure deck, so I have to wait a little bit. And I also have plans for Cosmos. I have plans for Cosmos. And I want to build Necros. I want to build Shinobear Necros. Again, unaffected by the whole mechanic. So, I have all these decks ready, except Necros. I don't have any of those cards. I just need to pick up a few more techs for links. I still need to pick up 2 more Super Go. I'm pretty sure. Konami still has not hit. I'm pretty sure that TCG is going to fumble the ball and not hit Gofu. So while they're still cheap, I'm going to get those. I need to get me some Agent, 3 Venus, and Shine Balls. I have my Brilliant Fusion engine and my Seraph Knight engine. I still have all that. So with that being said, I am ready to adapt to links. I just need a few more cards. I got my Sanctums, my Scythes yesterday. I just now need to get my hands on Denkos. I need to get Denkos because I feel like there's still going to be a lot more Barrier Stun. There's going to be a lot more Barrier Stun. There's going to be a lot more True Dracos. So I need to get Denkos. And I need to get Anti-Spell Fragrances before Battles of Legend becomes a little bit more scarce. And they get more expensive because there's no way Anti-Spell, Denko, and Sanctum are going to stay at $3 forever. Like, they're going to go up eventually. I mean, I picked up a couple of Transmodifies because I'm prepared for the spike on those when that new deck comes out. So that's all I want to say. Good luck to the Paleo guy, and you guys have a good day.